What you are looking at are ordinary rose petals, but if you look carefully between the natural veins of these petals, you will notice something that literally left scientists, biologists, and witnesses speechless. Not only the face of Jesus Christ, but also the image of the Virgin Mary and other religious figures that seem to emerge from the very structure of the flower. No ink, no brushstroke, no acid. An image fused directly with the cellular structure of the plant. And this is not the only specimen. There are hundreds of them. How is it physically possible for nature to draw human faces by itself with such surgical precision? Today, we open the files of one of the most documented and inexplicable cases of recent decades. A physical case, fragile and almost impossible to classify, that still forces believers and skeptics alike to ask one question: what are we really looking at? To understand the scale of this discovery, we have to go back to the 1990s, to Monterrey. In an ordinary house, inhabited by an ordinary woman named Hermila Carrasco, there was a simple picture of the Virgin Mary, an inexpensive print protected by glass. Then, suddenly, one day, tears began to flow from the face of the image. But the first clue that something unusual was happening was the physical behavior of the phenomenon. The tears were not soaking the paper inside. The water was forming materially out of nowhere on the outer surface of the glass. Researchers immediately tried to dismiss the matter: condensation, ambient humidity. And yet, when the glass was dried with cloths, the drops would instantly form again before everyone's eyes, defying the laws of thermodynamics. But this event, which by itself would already have been enough to make people cry miracle, was only the beginning. The true mystery had yet to appear. Drawn by the news, thousands of curious visitors began coming to the house. Many brought flowers, especially roses, and placed them beneath the image. And this is where the situation escaped every logical explanation. The owners of the flowers, after taking the withered roses back home, noticed a disturbing detail. When the petals began to dry, they did not darken randomly, as happens in the normal process of plant necrosis. The marks of decomposition gathered, organized themselves, and followed a geometric pattern. Human silhouettes began to appear, profiles of faces crowned with thorns, figures in prayer. And pay attention. This was not pareidolia, the optical illusion that makes us see shapes in clouds. These images had precise features: eyes, noses, shadows worthy of a Renaissance portrait painter, and they were no larger than 2 centimeters. The story spread, and inevitably, the skeptics arrived. The accusation was immediate and rational. This was a well-orchestrated fraud. The main hypothesis of the investigators was that someone, perhaps at night, was replacing the petals with others that had been prepared in advance, using tiny inked stamps or a corrosive chemical substance to burn the image onto the leaf. It was the only possible explanation. So several petals were collected and taken to the laboratory to be placed under the lens of science. The goal was to find traces of human counterfeiting, but the report of the analyses was impossible. When the biologists observed the petals under the microscope, their certainties collapsed. First, there was no ink, no artificial pigment, no paint. Second, there was no corrosion. If you use acid to draw on a petal that is only a fraction of a millimeter thick, the capillaries of the flower break and the leaf is punctured. Here, on the contrary, the image was formed by the natural pigmentation of the plant. In other words, the cells of the petal had dried and shrunk in such a way as to form the sacred image, using the natural color changes from dark red to light brown. No modern technology, neither then nor today, can reprogram the cells of a cut flower and command it to wither while forming the face of Christ. In criminology, to expose a trick, you have to look for the motive. Who gains from it? If this had been an illusion orchestrated by Hermila or by people close to her, the logical purpose would have been money. To create a sect, to sell the miraculous petals as talismans. And yet, the investigation never found any profit. The petals were given away. Access to the house was free. No one ever asked for a cent. There was no organization. There was no request for power. The only measurable result of this phenomenon was that the people involved, faced with these specimens, began to pray to change their lives and to question the meaning of their existence. Human deception seeks money. These petals inexplicably led people to repentance. But there is one element that researchers emphasized, and it makes the story even more extreme: the number of cases. If a petal decomposes and by pure chance forms a stain that resembles a human face, we are talking about a probability of 1 in billions. A very rare statistical anomaly, but still possible. But here we are talking about hundreds of petals coming from different florists, brought by people who did not know one another, all manifesting exactly the same intelligent pattern. Mathematics refuses to accept it as coincidence. Someone, or something, was literally using the plant kingdom as a photographic printer. If we step outside botanical analysis for a moment and look at history, we discover that this method is not new. There is a thread connecting this mystery to investigations into much more famous relics. Think of the Holy Shroud of Turin, an inexplicable photographic negative image impressed with a cold fire onto the superficial fibers of linen, without ink. Think of the tilma of Guadalupe in Mexico, a perfect image that appeared from nowhere on the fibers of a simple agave plant, a material that should have crumbled within a few decades and yet has remained intact for 500 years. The dynamic is identical. It is as if whoever creates these works wants to leave a signature. The signature of a creator who does not need artist canvases or advanced technologies, but uses matter itself, plant fibers, the poorest flowers, to imprint his message. But why a face on a petal? What is the meaning of such a fragile and microscopic phenomenon in a world that moves at 1,000 miles an hour? We live in an age of total disillusionment. Our society is dominated by a fierce materialism, where we believe only in what we can touch, measure, or produce in laboratories. They tell us that we are only random biology, dust in a cold and silent universe. And here is the brilliant paradox. From the other side comes a sign made literally of biology, a flower that is about to die. The most fleeting and temporary thing in the world suddenly becomes the support for something eternal. Before evidence like the petals of Monterrey, indifference is no longer an option. Science has done its work. It has declared that there is no ink, no human manipulation, and that the biology of the plant acted against nature. The investigation ends here. The rest is up to us. We can continue scrolling through our screens, convincing ourselves that it is all one enormous, miraculous statistical coincidence. Or we can stop for a moment and accept the most shocking reality of all. There is an intelligent mind behind the veil of this world. A mind that knows our weakness and that, from time to time, breaks into our physical dimension to tell us, "Wake up, I am real." We do not believe in God because we have seen a face on a rose petal. Our faith rests on much greater foundations: history, the Gospels, the resurrection of Christ. And yet, these signs are caresses from heaven. They are electric shocks sent to awaken those who have stopped searching. They are proof that God is in love with His creation and that He has not abandoned us in silence. If nature itself bends in order to show the face of the Creator, who are we not to stop and look? If this story made you reflect, I ask you to leave a sign. Let us use the comments not to argue, but as one united chorus. Write this sentence in the comments. Make it your own. Lord, as you have impressed your face upon nature, impress it forever upon my heart. May God bless us all.